Today is Wednesday, January 7th, 2026, and welcome to Furniture Industry News, where we bring you the latest developments shaping the home furnishings world. Thanks for tuning in. Let's start with the health of overall furniture store sales in the United States. New government retail figures for the first 10 months of 2025 show a very modest increase in year-over-year furniture store sales. When looking at October alone, furniture sales grew by about 0.5% compared with the same month a year earlier, making furniture one of the slower-growing retail sectors. But if you broaden the view to include the first 10 months of the year, total furniture store sales were up nearly 4% compared with the same period in 2024. In raw dollars, sales for that 10-month period totaled roughly $112 billion. That performance, while positive, lagged behind most other retail categories, including overall retail sales, which grew 3.5% over the same period. Furniture stores trailed behind sectors like non-store and e-commerce retailers, general merchandise, clothing, health and beauty, and restaurants, among others. So while the industry did see growth, it remains modest relative to broader retail trends and reflects the ongoing realities of furniture being a higher-ticket category buyers replace less frequently than everyday goods. Against this backdrop of cautious sales growth, several long-standing independent furniture retailers have announced closures, often tied to owner retirements after decades or even centuries in business. In Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, McKinstry's Home Furnishings, established back in 1858, is closing its doors after nearly 170 years of serving its community. The decision comes as the current president, who started at the company as a ninth grader and spent nearly 6 decades in the business, retires, and the family opts not to sell the operation. The store's going out of business sale began right after New Year's Day, and local customers have already been turning out in strong numbers to support the legacy retailer. In a similar story, another historic Wisconsin furniture store in Kiel, C.J. Meiselwitz Furniture, wrapped up more than 127 years in business as owners retired from the fourth generation of family leadership. Since its founding in 1898, that store not only sold furniture, but served as a community touchpoint, hosting downtown gatherings and supporting local culture. With the owners stepping back, the final liquidation sale marked the end of a local institution. Pennsylvania's furniture landscape has also shifted. In Bethlehem, Unclaimed Freight, a retailer that first opened in 1972, announced it will close following more than a half-century of operation. The owner cited retirement and changes in the industry as key reasons for winding down the business. The going-out-of-business sale is expected to run into late February or early March, giving local shoppers several weeks to take advantage of clearance pricing. Taken together, these closures highlight a trend among long-standing independent furniture retailers facing existential decisions about succession and market conditions. It's a reminder that even deeply rooted brands can reach natural endpoints, particularly when the next generation chooses different paths or the economic environment makes continuation less appealing. Another major influence on the industry right now is trade policy. As we head into 2026, import tariffs remain a hot topic, especially for products like upholstery and wood imports that make up a significant part of the furniture supply chain. President Donald Trump publicly defended the tariffs his administration imposed, stating through social media that they generated hundreds of billions in federal revenue and bolstered national security. At the same time, the Supreme Court is on the verge of ruling on whether the president had the authority to impose those tariffs without explicit congressional approval. Some justices have expressed skepticism about the executive branch's power in this area, and economists have pointed out that the effective tariff rate, what companies actually pay after exemptions and adjustments, is significantly lower than the headline figures originally announced. That said, higher costs on imported goods, including furniture components, continue to put pressure on sourcing decisions and pricing. Notably, an executive order recently delayed planned increases on tariffs affecting cabinets and upholstered furniture for 1 year, offering a temporary reprieve for importers and retailers navigating cost challenges. Amid these economic headwinds, industry professionals are also discussing what skills and strategies will help retailers survive and thrive in 2026 and beyond. One opinion piece circulating among furniture industry leaders points to data governance and technological awareness as areas of growing importance. With new e-commerce features, like a high-profile retailer's Buy For Me tool that lets shoppers purchase products from third-party websites through a single platform, retailers are being reminded that understanding and controlling their product data is crucial. When sellers don't have clear visibility into how and where their products are being marketed or sold, they can lose both sales insight and pricing control. This kind of challenge underscores the evolving landscape where technology isn't just an add-on, but increasingly central to retail strategy. Beyond data control, retailers are being asked to consider how technology can both streamline operations and open new channels without sacrificing autonomy. To wrap up today's update, we've seen modest but positive sales trends for furniture stores in the larger retail mix, ongoing pressures from trade policy and sourcing costs, and real-world examples of deeply entrenched independent retailers closing after long runs. At the same time, the industry continues to wrestle with how best to leverage data and digital tools to stay competitive. Thanks for listening to Furniture Industry News. If you found this episode informative, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an update on the trends and forces shaping our industry.